Hey guys, it's your boy Wolfie. Now, Shiva just got announced on Wednesday and got put into the PTS on Friday. So, if you want to try him out, you can. This is going to be a quick review on Shiva. We're going to go over his skills. I'm going to give you guys my opinion on him and tell you where I think he's useful. Too long didn't read. I think the god is nuts. He might be overtuned right now, but I think his kit alone is going to end up being timeless. It just seems like it's a perfect kit for a character of his type, and I don't think he's ever going to really fall out of the meta, numbers or not. He also has a lot of nuance in him. You're going to have a lot of skill expression that might not get recognized by your team, but you're going to know you're doing it. I think that people are going to be improving on him for a while because I don't think he's just that much of a straightforward character. Even though people are going to say he's really easy, we'll get into it while we're talking and we're discussing the game, the character in the review. But let's get right into it right now. First of all, the biggest thing that makes him complex is his passive. Now he has a stance passive, and it's not like Tyr, and it's not like King Arthur. It's kind of a weird mix between Tyr, Hell, and Cucullin. You kind of build it up and then it goes into another stance. Now, the other stance doesn't really change your abilities, but they change the nuance of your abilities, like we were talking before. But let's start off with the passive. You basically have a bar that builds up one of these sides. When you're on the red flower or the yellow flower, it's basically you're in destruction stance. And what destruction stance is the offensive stance. So in destruction stance, for your passive alone, you have a reduced MP5 and HP5 aura. This isn't a degen aura. They're not going to start losing mana from just being around you. It's going to stop them from having HP5 and MP5, which is really useful because you guys don't realize how much HP5 is actually in this game right now. This is actually pretty huge. I really like this passive. It's pretty cool. And when you're in Bliss stance, you kind of have a supporting thing. You give your team HP5 and MP5. Basically hell passive. But not only does it do all that, but it changes your abilities. So as you can see, his one is a nice little one. It's a pullback, and there's a little fire circle. Yes, the fire circle does damage over time, so keeping them in that fire section will increase your damage a ton. As you can see, we changed our stance right now. Now we're in the blue stance, as you see so lovely, right? Now, you can build this meter with both abilities and auto attacks, but it takes a really long time. So it's not something that you're just going to keep on swapping constantly. You can probably get a couple abilities off before you have to swap. But what it changes is that fire has a different effect based on what stance you're on. If you are in the Bliss stance, when your team runs through the fire, they get a movement speed increase. While if you're in destruction stance, it lowers their protections. So both of them are really good. But learning how to place this based on what stance you're in can probably save a teammate, secure a kill, and being able to tell what stance you're in and communicate that to your team and let them know what you're in. I kind of wish it was more visual. It's kind of hard to see what stance he's in. You kind of have to look at the flame. It's going to be hard to see in a fight. You know what I mean? I kind of wish there was a little more, but you'll see a blue flame when it's the Bliss stance. You know, if you can run through it and get some move speed, and you'll see more of a red flame. So if you're against them, you know not to run out of it and get the protection debuff if you can avoid it. So it is there, but it's kind of hard to see. As you can see now that, like, based on what stance you're in, you want to change your fight, you want to figure out where you position your abilities. Maybe you want to use it to help somebody escape, maybe you want to use it for peel, maybe you want to use it for aggression. It's completely based on the situation and based on the fight and everything that's going on. So he's going to have a lot of utility, and based on your timing and what stance you're in, you could really affect the fight. Now his 2 is a weird projectile. It's a cone, and there's an enhanced section. And based on if you hit them in the section, it'll knock them up. Right? So in the middle, boom. That being said, it will do damage all the time. Even if you miss the cone, it will do damage. If you just miss a little targeter, it will still do that. It just won't knock up. On top of that, it has kind of a Kepri ball effect, where if you hit your team, they get an attack speed buff of 25% for 4 seconds. So in Bliss Stance, you're actually a really good support because you're not only going to be knocking people up, but you're also going to be giving your team attack speed. Meanwhile, in Destruction Stance, you might opt out for not using it to peel, even though even peeling with it is probably still really good, but you might be trying to get it on their main auto attack damage dealers because then it reduces their attack speed by 25%. So as you can see, like when you're playing in Bliss Stance, you might want to try to aim it so it hits as many teammates as possible while doing damage to enemies. Meanwhile, in Destruction Stance, you can be more selfish, but it's still really good as a peel. Shiva works in both solo lane and support, as you can see. He's a very versatile character. He might even work in jungle, for being completely honest. He's kind of disgusting. And this is what I'm talking about. It's going to separate good Shivas from bad Shivas, because good Shivas are going to realize in Bliss Stance, they're going to buff their team. They're going to help their team. And when they're in Destruction Stance, they're going to be a destructual force. But they're going to have to pay attention to that, and a lot of players don't really pay attention to those things. So it is what it is, but it's going to be fun to watch and fun to play. Not to mention, these abilities are clean to press. Look, just boom. It just feels good. You know what I mean? Like that sequence of buttons is really smooth, and you can see where the box is coming from. And you can also see where this is good for a laning phase. So like, think about it. Let's go into a laning phase. Okay, cool. This is crazy. Yeah, wait a second. So you're trying to tell me I can play different? You can group up the minions with this character, make it easier for your ADC to clear. You can also make it scarier for them to box in the wave, because you can pull the enemy gods in and knock them up and knock up the wave. So you can mitigate a lot of damage, and that's not even saying his other ability. Now let's go into his 3. His 3 is a completely... They kind of took Chernunos' dash and made it into its own ability without having to dash into a wall. So Shiva has a double dash. When he dashes forward, meditates, and based on what stance he's in, it does different effects, and then he can dash out again, and both dashes do damage. When you're in Bliss Stance, right, your allies gain a block stack, and you get 3 block stacks on leaving. When you're in Destruction Stance, you pulsate damage every 0.25 seconds. Not to mention, when you dash into that little meditation state, you're immune to CC, and you have 40% damage reduction. So learning how to dash and duck and weave and getting into team fights and using your dash to mitigate as much damage as possible is going to be huge. 40% mitigation is ridiculous. You see an ult coming your way, dash. Even if you get hit, you're good. It's really strong. And it also commands pressure in the laning phase. If you're just putting out damage and clearing the wave, they kind of can't fight you. I don't know if this he's gonna be Paladin. This is really scary. That's over 300 base damage while having aura damage or giving you survivability. That's a lot. This character's gonna be a terror. And then his ult is really cool because it's nothing like anything else in the game. He basically does Dance Dance Revolution in his ult. When you press Alt, you have 3 buttons, kind of like Raijin, but you're not shooting beams of lightning out. You're doing dance moves, trying to impress your favorite viewers or e-girls, or whatever you guys want to impress right now. But each one of the buttons do something different. Your step 1 heals and restores mana. It's a decent amount of healing and restoring mana. I'm probably not going to use it as much, but it's a decent amount. It could save someone's life. Step 2 is 50% damage and healing amplification. So regardless of what happens, you're probably going to start your ult with a 2. Ooh, excuse me, sorry. You're going to start your ult off with a 2 to amplify the healing or the damage, whatever you want to do. So you're always going to start with your 2. And then your 3 just does damage. And this is what it looks like. So you get like 3 to 4 steps. You can do a dance move every 1.5 seconds. So you get like 4 stances off. 4 dances off. It's pretty cool. How hard does it hit? Let's find out right now too. Let's try to get a standard build that you would go in solo lane. Right. Let's see. I'm just gonna do the standard Warrior's Axe stuff. Maybe give him some damage. Screw it. Let's try this out. Just these 3 items. I just want to see how much damage we do. Let's get this cooldown taken care of. Bada bing, bada boom. All right. Oh, that's a pretty significant amount of damage. Yeah, it's not bad. Being able to decide what you want to do is pretty nice. Being able to also have a defensive section of it, it's pretty good. That's not bad damage. That's 325 base. I want to say around 50-60% scaling based on my power. Yeah, that's not bad. That's pretty good. Yeah, the character's nuts. I like him. I think he's good. He feels smooth to play. He feels fun to play. I can't wait to try him out a little more in Conquest, and I really want to see how these new items and stuff affect him. I really think he's going to be really strong with cooldown reduction, but I don't think he's going to be building as much damage as people think he is. I think he's going to be focused on being able to get in and out of the fight. That being said, he might actually just build damage. He has a lot of built-in sustain, a lot of built-in survivability. Yeah. Also, not to mention his ult has 20% damage reduction, and you obviously saw he was CC immune as he was glowing yellow. Yeah, let me know what you guys think about the character. From what I understand, he's universally loved. Apparently, a lot of people like the character. He looks fantastic. Like, the character just looks awesome as is. They did a great job with the character. Really fun play style. Simple enough for new players. Complex enough for vet players and advanced players to have some things to work on and improve on. Really good job. Let me know what you guys think. What do you think he's gonna build? I think he's focusing on cooldown reduction and maybe some MP5. I don't know. I think that's gonna probably be his most important things with that much CC and trying to get off his passive as much as I think he's going to want to. I think he's gonna be absolutely nuts with CDR. Probably gonna see a lot of Bumbas and Hydras if he is put in the jungle. You might even see some people try to squeeze that out in solo lane. Yeah, we'll see how that works. But anyway, if you guys enjoyed the video, hit that like button. You know what I'm saying? That helps me out with the algorithm. Try to get us as high of a like number as possible. It does help us out a lot. Subscribe to the channel. Really do appreciate that. If you want to see more of my stuff, hit the notification bell to know when we put more stuff out. Also, I stream between 12 a.m. and 6 a.m. for SMITE. So if you want to hang out there and ask me questions, feel free to stop by. Yeah, drop a comment. Let me know if you guys like the character. Let me know if you guys agree with me. Call me a dumbass if I'm a dumbass. Let me know your opinion. Anyway, you guys have a good day. Deuces.